Hello, for coming, guys. This is Global Real Estate Education Network, GREEN. Steve and I started this a while back because so many people are teaching this real estate just wrong. Either they're charging way too much and just giving you a bunch of books and tapes and saying, see you later, or they're just trying to make this thing sound like it's too easy. Everybody's making $20,000, $50,000 a deal. And yes, you can do that. And yes, we do that here. And you guys know, you see us giving checks out over here all the time. But it's work, and it's a work in progress. So what we try to do is we try to walk you through on a daily basis. People just say, I'll see you next Wednesday. No, we have daily education here. Up on it's live and interactive, just like this is live and interactive. It's taped right now. There's people who are on here from all over the... Last week we had people from Russia and North Dakota. So you can watch, talk, ask questions at any of our meetings anytime. And we ask people, and we're starting to get groups other places. Down Florida, and Philly, and Jersey. I want to get Chicago. I want to get everywhere. Because I want to watch meetings over there. I want to see what's happening in West Palm Beach, Florida. And you can do that Wednesday morning at 10 o'clock. You can see what kind of deals you can find in West Palm Beach, Florida. That's our first group down there that's starting up. Shortly, Fort Myers, Florida is going to happen. And my Dave's coming from Jersey on the 21st to start doing some recordings of his class. And he's going to be starting his group in Jersey. Basically, all the mistakes that I made in real estate, because I bought a lot of property. And when it hits the fan, if you're not prepared, you lose everything. Well, there's no need to do that. If you properly prepare your stuff, we're all cowboys. I mean, we're just, you ask people who buy real estate, where's your money? Oh, yeah, well, it's in the next deal. It's always in the next deal. You keep what you can to live, and the money you throw in the next deal. Well, you can only do that so many times. You can only say, let it ride so many times before the house takes everything and you're hocking your watch outside to get a ride home. So there's so many different things to plan on how to be a successful business person. So we're not just flippers. I'm a wholesaler. Well, no, you're a businessman or woman. You have to pay yourself. You have to pay your family. You got to get insurance. You got to, you have to put 10% of your money away. Like your father was telling you your whole life, and you never did yet. You have to, think for the future. Plan for, get your 1031, your self-directed IRAs going, and build up your tax-free retirement money. Well, I'm not worried about retirement now. Yeah, but you know what? You can use the money. It's not like you put it in your life insurance policy and it's gone forever. You can get a life insurance policy and use that same money to buy real estate. And then you can just keep rotating money through your life insurance policy. I mean, all these things, maybe you knew, maybe you didn't know, maybe you forgot. But we're going to try to show you the right ways to do all this stuff because we already went through it all. Either didn't do it or did it right. And what I do and Steve does, we find teachers to teach all this correct way to be an investor. We have contractors that come in. So all these little things is what GREEN is about. And if he's ready, we'll show you just some of the teachers that we have available to teach right now. Marcus? Yeah. Dave Fawcett, Dead Zero Exchange. Scott Lake, one of the biggest investors around. It's Coach Burt. And the girl was at the Coach Burke will teach you about business, how to expand your business. So many people in there. Tim Hicks, we actually follow around a home inspector. Now, you guys are contractors. I'm a contractor. I've been a general contractor since I was born. But you know, when you're fixing your own house up, it's, well, I can do this, I can not do this. Well, you got to remember what the home inspector is going to look at. And if you don't know what the home inspector, you know most of this stuff. But you know what? Most of this stuff doesn't work a lot of times. You know you're doing the house because that guy's going to come in there and find one receptacle that's wired backwards. It still works. Works for you. But you know what? If they found one, all of a sudden they're going to make you get a licensed electrician to come in there and check the rest of it out. You just lost yourself $500. I just saved you $500 by just you can watch the video of the guy checking it because they check every single one of them anymore. You know how they go in there. They're just nitpicking everything. That's their job. We don't ask you to do your own home inspections, but we just want you to go in there and notice things that you normally wouldn't notice. You might have bought it and didn't care because I'm a contractor. But when you go to sell it, they're going to hit you for every darn thing that they can to reduce that money. So I wanted you to know what a home inspector looks like. We wanted you to know what an appraiser looks for to make the highest appraisal. So when you're fixing your house for a resale or even a refi, you want to know how to get the most out of that house. Because, you know, we're prejudiced. We think like guys, and we're selling to girls. Girls buy houses, you know, but we're thinking like a guy. You know, I try to, you know, listen, we have a hard time too. I try to bring in the other side to start, you know, how do you decorate a house? How do you make it sell more? We have people come in there staging. Not the fancy staging where you got to rent all this fancy furniture, just simple, free stuff that we do to make the house sell a couple bucks more. So we get it. You know, nobody buys crappier houses than I do. I mean, literally, you know, everybody knows. What I used to do, you know, you go to these houses, and usually I buy them and they leave everything. You know, you go to the kitchen cabinets and it's full of roaches and food and. Well, you know, I got people coming because I put in my open house sign and the day I buy the house, I have my open house signs up there. And I'm going to the cabinets to get pine salt, or sometimes there's a whole big thing of cinnamon. I'll spread cinnamon around the house, or put it in the air conditioning vents. So it smells anything like a house. Everything but a house you want it to smell like. So these are the kind of things that they'll save you $500, $600, $700. Yeah, listen, boom, 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 a little bit here, a little bit there. Today we had an attorney supposed to be here today. He just called just a couple hours ago and said he had a family emergency. But on Wednesday, like I told you, a girl from West Palm is one of our trainers, and she shows property, off-market properties that she buys down there and resells, fixes. She's a contractor, does her own mortgages, flipper, and a property manager. And if she doesn't have anything to sell, she does a little class for us, just a little 20-minute class. We're going to put that on, and then we'll talk about that and anything else you guys want to talk about. So, Marcus, can you play the tape?
You're talking about trusts?
No, she has a trust. Actually, she has a trust class, but this is not about trust, I don't think. What is this about?
The attorney that was supposed to speak about the trust had the family emergency.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is Sharon Restrepo does a weekly class for members. So people who are signed up can train with her, and it's live and interactive online.
So you can listen every Wednesday at 10. And then usually at 12, well, today we had Larry Cox from the mortgage, but he alternates 2 times a week is Michelle Moore does a class for us. So Marcus, go ahead.
Hey guys, this is Sharon Restrepo. Thanks for tuning in again to another Real Estate Steals, Deals, and Opportunities lesson. Today we're going to expose 2 more myths regarding real estate investing that many seasoned and new investors falsely believe. As we follow us in this Exposing Myths series, today we're going to talk about 2 myths. One is if it feels like a good deal, just go for it. And the other one is save money renovating without permits. And so we're going to focus on these 2 today, and I hope that you learn a lot that maybe you had believed before. So the first lie, I call them lies and truths in my book, Exposing the Truth Behind the Lies of Real Estate Investing. It's if it feels like a good deal, go for it. You know, a lot of people do make emotional decisions when it comes to spending money. And I always say, you know, whatever that emotion is when you're buying it, it would be completely the opposite when you're selling it if you are using emotional decisions to base, you know, you moving forward in any deal. Okay, so you might be all excited at the beginning, but it's going to turn to anxiety and fear when you're done because you bought it for the wrong reason. So it's, you know, no real factors involved that gave you the guidance to go ahead with it. So the truth is not to trust your feelings. Use formulas, rules, and proven methods. And so I'm going to give you an example of just one of the formulas that we use. And this is a very simple formula here. We use Excel spreadsheets to guide us in purchasing our rentals, our flips, whatever it is we're going to be doing, because it is about the formula. So although I might love the deal or love the location, if it doesn't fit the criteria and show me that I'm going to make a profit or the expected return that I want, then, you know, I need to know that right up front so that I don't get involved in something that's not going to give me what I'm expecting, okay? And everything sounds like a deal when you're first looking at it. Oh, you can buy it for 100 and it's worth 200. Well, sure, give me 10 of those, until you actually analyze the deal and it needs $80,000 in renovations. And so it doesn't make sense at that point. So, you know, we're presented with a lot of opportunities that turn out not to be good opportunities, especially once we put them into a formula. And so here's an example I just want to share with you. And this is a very broad general formula here, but it's a good one, at least if you don't have any formula you're using to start with. And so this is a purchase formula for rehabbing and retail, okay? So we're going to say here that our retail value, in other words, the value that we expect to sell the property for is $250,000. From that, we're going to subtract all of the following, okay? If you forget any one of these line items, you set yourself up for loss. So the cost of repairs, all right? And the cost of repairs in this situation is $40,000. Now let's talk about the cost of financing, okay? In this small square box that you see up on the right, that is a scenario of using hard money financing or equity financing. This is financing that a lot of investors use because they can close in 5 days. It's based on the value of the property and not on them. It's a very common, very popular form of financing in the investor arena. And so they call it hard money because, you know, it might be 12% interest only and 3 points, meaning 3% of the principal amount being borrowed as a cost for getting the loan. And when you compare it, it sounds expensive, but when you compare it to traditional financing, it's actually much less money, and you can get into it quicker and with less out of your own pocket than with conventional or traditional financing. That's what I find. Okay, so the loan amounts are based on 65% of that after repaired value. So in this particular scenario, our loan amount for the hard money financing is based on $162,500. And I put a time frame in of 4 months. So we're saying that in a 4-month time frame of buying this property, fixing it up, getting it under contract and sold again, that in 4 months we're in and out of this deal. And so our cost of money, our cost of financing is based on 4 months. So you need to use your days on market for the neighborhood, how long you think the renovation is going to take, and you need to factor how long you think you'll be in and out of the deal so that you use the right amount of money for your cost of financing in your formula. Okay, so the cost of financing the 3 points is $48.75 when we finance $162.5, and 4 payments at this interest rate and that loan amount come to $6,500. Okay, so our cost of money is pretty significant, right? Look at that, it's over $10,000. So there's a lot of money right there that if you're using your own cash can go into your deal toward the profit or toward the renovations. All right, then our carrying costs. Let's not forget our carrying costs. And in this scenario, I'm assuming it has a lawn, pool, utilities, taxes. So all of the costs to carry this property and own it for that 4-month period are $41.60. Now our buy and sell costs, I'm using a formula of 2% to purchase it based on the closing costs for a buyer in my area where I buy. And I'm using 5% on my sale of $250,000, okay? So 5% of that, 2% of that figure is again going towards closing costs as a seller, and 3% of that figure, because I'm a broker, I don't pay a 6% fee to list my property. I offer 3% out to realtors who bring buyers. So my total percent of selling it at $250, I use 5%. So your formula is going to be a little different based on where you're at, okay? But that's almost $16,000. So if I don't use the right formula here, again, there's a lot of room for loss that I'm not taking into consideration. You know, a lot of people think they're just going to plant this for sale by owner sign and, you know, save themselves all this money. And, you know, sometimes it's not that easy. So the potential profit, right, because this is all hypothetical until it's over, is $40,000. And that's what my goal is to make. I want to make $40,000. So I'm putting in a line item that this is what I'm looking for. So all of that being subtracted, then I need to pay $111,000, 285, right? $111,285 or less. So as you can see, in a hot market like South Florida where I'm located, what's the likelihood of a property being listed for $111,000 that's worth $250,000? Okay, there's going to be a bidding war, and a lot of people are going to go, well, I'm just going to go Band-Aid it, so I'm not going to spend 40, I'll spend 20. And I think I'm only going to own this for 2 months, so let me get rid of those figures. And I only care if I make $20,000 because I just need to make some money. So that person can pay $40,000 more than we can. And this is just for us being the flipper ourselves. If we want to wholesale this property and we use these figures for the guy we're going to wholesale this to, then we would have to pay less than $111 in order to make our fee, right? In order to make us money. So these kind of spreads you don't typically find in the market that everybody's going to buy, right? This is why marketing to bring in leads that I'm dealing with sellers directly who want to sell their homes is really what I need to be doing if I consider myself a professional real estate investor. Because, you know, I'm typically looking to buy at 50% of that ARV, and that's kind of makes sense, right? And so if I'm using my own cash, you can see why I have the room to play with that number a little bit. Okay, so as you can see, you know, if somebody says I have a property that you can get for $150 that's worth $250, wow, that does sound like a deal. And then you plug in the formula and you go, wow, I can't even pay $150 for this. Okay, so formulas really help you prevent loss and mistakes. All right, so without formulas, you really are counting on your emotions to purchase a property. And, you know, and I don't want to say anything negative about real estate agents, but many of them are traditional agents. They're not used to these formulas, and, you know, they're saying, here's your numbers, here's what you can buy it for, here's what you can sell it for, but all the numbers in between is not what they're an expert in, okay? That's what you need to be an expert in if this is what you're trying to do. So don't blame your realtor. All right, so the next slide we're going to talk about, guys, is saving money renovating without permits.
All right, look at I don't know, let's go recap some of the stuff she was talking about. She's talking about backing into a flip. Okay, backing into a flip is one of my old broker's way of saying that we can sell this house for $200,000, and then you have a whole list of stuff. The kitchen's going to cost, you walk through the kitchen, you do a quick estimate of $3,000, $2,000 for this, $4,000 for the roof. Yeah, you go through and hopefully you have a nice checklist so you don't miss anything. But listen to what she was saying. She didn't go too much of the construction part, which a lot of people that get into this business sort of know, because we're handyman, we go by fix and flip houses. But it's all the other stuff that is costing so much money. There's almost $16,000 in just the money part, and then another $3,000-4,000 in the real estate part. And don't think that you won't use a realtor to sell it. They say, well, I can save that 6%. Well, you know what? So many times we have property for sale, and some realtor call me up and say, hey, listen, do you pay, at least my side? Yeah, we pay 3%, So you're going to burn at least half of that money. You might not list it with somebody, but you're going to be burning 3. So you have $20,000 going to be burned up that's none of your money. Now, Lamont just talked about a deal that he just called up a few minutes ago, found his house, and sounded good. He missed a little bit of the beginning over here, but the guy said, I'm selling this for $177.5, and down the street they just sold for $329. And she was just talking about the emotional buy of, wow, that sounds good, I'll buy it. Well, how long, first off, how long has the house been up for? It's listed, isn't it? It's listed with the, Steve checked it out. It's listed with a realtor. Right? Well, let's assume that most of the realtors are at least semi-good at their job. So I'm sure they checked out what the highest and best value of that property is for the quick sale and all that. So, they take factor for the quick sale, not fix anything up and all this stuff. Well, if it was that screaming of a deal, nobody, it wouldn't be still there. Okay? So at 170, and then you say you want to, you mentioned that you want to bid 150, or that's what I would offer. This is Nashville. Nobody's getting less than they offer for. So these things, did you guys run into this kind of problem? Have you guys flipped any properties yet? The holding cost, that 4 months worth of time, that's the beauty of what Steve does. We sell houses in a day, a lot of times, because time is money. He's a mortgage guy over here, but he's not hard money, but he's regular mortgage. But when you're the hard money guy, the Phil Rizzuto from Philly, and you want to borrow some quick cash that you don't have to have that great a credit for, but you just want it for a short time. These guys, they hit you at the 15%. And at 3 points, 3 points are 1% per thing. So if you borrow $100,000, it's another $1,000 right away. Every day you guys have jobs. You work every day. Yeah. You iron guys. Yeah. You work every day. So, okay, I'll go on the weekends and do it. Well, you know what? You get charged interest 60, 70 hours a day, whether you're working on the house or not. So 5 days a week, you might try to slip out during the afternoon or something, but if it rains, that's $60 you just lost. Every day. What, rain or shine, holidays, weekends, and stuff like that. That's what you really got to watch on. That's why you need partners who maybe you guys have money and credit, and they have time and capability. They know how to do things. Or you got to hire out. I mean, these things you got to figure out. That time is the worst thing. Steve knows, right? Time will kill you.
Time. I mean, this is a complex subject. I mean, it's not. There are many variables involved when you're flipping. Obviously, sometimes you renovate, sometimes you don't renovate. I'd say the majority of new investors prefer not to renovate or prefer obviously, the thing I recommend is partnering with someone who has the finances or the connections in place. So it just depends on what audience you're speaking to. I think most people coming in fresh want to wholesale. They just want to turn the contract over to someone else and then get paid. This one is actually a really good study, the one that you mentioned, because everything around it's for sale. And specifically what Sharon's talking about, you can look right, and it's all in Woodbine, and it's interesting. It makes interesting conversation. But part of the point is absolutely, it's very easy to get sucked into think. Look, I'll just give you guys a little bit of history. Just Mark and I were co-founders of the company. I was an agent / investor 10 years ago, and Mark bought about 60 properties from me. And I did a lot of deals, and I saved people from a lot of bad decisions. There's a lot of if you go out there, let's say you grab a real estate agent, a lot of those real estate agents, they may be well-intentioned, but they just don't have that skill set of knowing how to trade. That takes time. It takes you just got to work with it a while. And you got to be around people like you're going to get in this room. If you're going to buy a house yourself, you're going to want to buy the kind of house that you're going to make money with. That's one of the big things. And so, I tell everybody that comes in, run the deal by me. I'll let you know the angles, all the ins and the outs. And it is very easy to get sucked into thinking that it's going to be worth more because
you got to remember those realtors.
We're internally
paid when you buy. So yes, it sounds a little bit nicer. They said, "Well, all you got to do is do a little work yourself and this and that." Well, that was the next section of that, working without pulling permits.
And I can tell you, for most. Since we're on this subject, you guys, this is very common, but we're going to go ahead and hit a couple new faces. A lot of people use what we call the 70% rule. You guys, anybody know what the 70% rule is? You know what that is. You know what the 70%, okay. So 70% rule basically says you take your ARV. ARV is after repaired value. I'll write this down. After repaired value. After repaired value. Multiply it times 0.7, 70%, so minus your costs. This is your renovation cost, okay? But it's also
cost of money.
See, some people include the cost of it. Some people don't include the cost of money because they're assuming the money. There's some fluctuation around this, but anyway, that's purchase price. Purchase price. So in this particular situation, at a $250,000 property times 0.7, so 175. 175,000. If it were just 40,000, the purchase price would have been in that situation, just on the renovation side, 135,000. You have to be a little bit careful. She's figuring out all of the costs at the 0.7, which is really the way you need to do it. So she's actually got 40 on the cost of repairs. She's got buy and sell costs of 15. She's got about 15 here. So really, you've got 40 and about 32 right there. See, that's yeah, it's 15 and some change. Yeah, right at 32. 31. So 31. So it's got an additional, really 71,000. So on the 70% rule, it would have been times 0.7, 175 minus that 71,000. So it would have been $104,000 purchase price. This is flexible, but it's a pretty good metric that you can look at and say, okay, I'm in a really hot market. I know everything in this subdivision sells in 30 days. Let's say if I'm in Fieldstone Farms in Franklin, I'm not getting that deal. If I'm in Providence and Mount Juliet, I'm not getting that deal. You're not going to find. It's rare. You got a friend that brings it to you. But if you're dealing with older properties that need a lot of renovation, let's say you're in Woodbine, okay? Let's say you're in North Nashville. Let's say you're in Cleveland Park. You're going to see, a lot of this. And so, obviously, contractors know that this part can change quite a bit. And we get into that a lot in our talks.
Of course, Paulie says if it's below 1970 house, he only times it by 60.
He'll do the 0.65 for the older houses.
Because, the electric is really shot. You got to redo the whole electric.
Older house being by what year? What year?
It's about 1970.
Yeah. But most of these houses that you're going to find are about in the 30s. And they got the cast iron pipes in there. They got the old, they don't have the knob electric, but they might have fuses or everything has to be rewired.
I know guys that go to auctions that will bid to a zero margin just to push other people out. So if you try to go bid against them, then it becomes competition time. So then they're trying to protect their turf. That's their own business. They don't want you in competing against them. So a lot of this is, I was just telling Zach earlier, or Chad, I'm sorry, real estate's a contact sport. So the number of contacts you make are going to directly influence the number of potential deals that can cross your plate. The more people that you run across in meetings like this and stuff that we do, these deals don't just fall into your lap, okay? You got to work to get them. Do we want to? We want to watch the rest of Sharon's statement?
Yeah,
go through.
Put it on there.
She explains really well. She does these classes every Wednesday, and she's an extremely experienced investor.
This is a big chapter in my book because everybody wants to do the work themselves when they're new. They want to hire a handyman, and they're going to get this massive renovation done for $10,000. So there's very unrealistic numbers being used as the renovation budget on many of these homes being bought. And it ends up in not a quick in and out. It ends up, they own it for 2 years, okay? And the market's changed now, and hopefully the market went up rather than down, and it's not at all what they thought it would be. And this happens to many new investors because so many that I speak with are going to work their full-time job and then spend the weekends renovating the home themselves because, after all, they know how. They go there at Home Depot all the time, they're Lowe's all the time, they know how to use a hammer. They're going to do all this work themselves. And what happens is burnout. Okay, they're excited at first, right? So the excitement keeps them in that home. Again, emotion, right? Emotion will cause us to do things, and then when that emotion wears off, we got to pay somebody else to do it. And so what happens is they burn out. So after a month of the family not seeing them at all because they're stuck at this house after work and on the weekends, they burn out. They go, I just need a break. Well, the break turns into a hiatus, and the house sits there in that condition. And so now this 4-month hold time is no longer a reality, and the numbers start changing. So now they have to spend money on people to fix it because they don't want to go back to the house. Maybe they got in over their head on the rehab and now realize this is something I need to hire someone to do. Whatever the case, the next mistake they make is to pay handymen that really aren't experts in what they're doing. The work might be getting done, but maybe it's not getting done to code. And, in other words, so many investors step over dollars to save pennies, and they do it in the wrong places. And the renovation is definitely not the place to try and skimp, okay? Because buyers are going to come in and they're going to see all this and recognize it and think, if this is what I can see, then what the heck did they do behind the walls? And so we don't want to scare our buyers off. And, we don't want our tile floors to be unlevel. We don't want the kitchen, to not line up. And I mean, there's so many things that, we can allow these mistakes to happen. And so we try to save money in the renovation process. And so I'm kind of spending a lot of time on this, but it's an area in the book that I really want you to change your mindset. And the main thing about this book is changing your mindset. I want to expose these top 10 myths to you so that you don't jump into your first deal thinking you're going to make all this money and you lose everything just because your mindset was wrong. You actually believe these lies in the industry that I'm telling you, hey, you could do it that way, but here's the better truth. And so the truth in this scenario is there's a cost to being cheap, right? If you've done it before, right? This used to happen to a lot of people I know. They buy a house and it really does need the roof replaced, okay? But they pay somebody $1,200 to make 4 roof repairs, okay? My thing is if you need more than 2 roof repairs, replace the roof, okay? So they make 4 roof repairs, and then, the buyer's inspector comes along and says, there's really no age of life left on this roof. I don't even know if you can get insurance. And, you have this whole big problem selling it now because you spent $1,200 on repairs, but the replacement of the roof was $2,500. So it's not the right place to save the money on the roof. Handing someone who's buying a home a brand new roof warranty goes so much further than, well, we did 4 patches by her. Okay, I mean, you don't want that house either, yet you're doing it in the renovation. So there's a lot of places like this where you think you're saving money to keep your budget down. And here's the problem. Wherever you save money that you should have spent it on the right thing, you will spend what you thought you saved in carrying costs, holding that house too long because the buyers are afraid of it. They don't want to buy it. They want a new roof. They want credits for what should have been done the right way. And so you will still spend the money, guys. So my thing is spend it up front right. That way every buyer wants your house when it goes on the market because it's done right, it's done with permits, and you can hand warranties over. So I love to list a home. And my home may be in a neighborhood where other investors have renovated as well, but in my remarks for selling the home, it says brand new permitted roof, brand new permitted AC, brand new permitted electrical and plumbing, water heater, whatever it is, right? And I'm advertising that the work was done with permits. So what does that mean to a buyer? Well, the psychological impact is that I wonder if the other houses pulled permits. I wonder because, if they pulled permits, the work's done right here and I'm getting warranties. And so they might go into other homes where it's also brand new, but there's no permit pulled because everybody was cheap. They're going to save a couple $100 not pulling a permit and not holding their contractors accountable to the job that they should have performed because it's being inspected. And so I love to do that because it changes the mindset of my buyer and I have more buyers interested. So I want to go to market and have a bidding war for my property, not wonder 3 months later why it's not selling. Okay, and I don't want that to happen to you. So that's just a couple of pointers in that one chapter about renovating your home properly and the mindset that you need to change of you being this weekend warrior versus you hiring it out and now considering yourself the brain behind your business and going out and finding your next deal rather than babysitting the one you just bought because it's turned into a nightmare. So that can burn you out of the business altogether when in reality it could have turned out very successful for you and you're excited to keep going. So, I love what I do and I don't want to burn out. So when I notice that something negative, happens more than once in my business, in my life, I want to say, why is that happening again? What am I allowing in my life for that to take place? And I want to nip it, right? So I want to show you a few pictures that can hopefully drive the point home on renovations because this is such a big part of the flipping part of the deal where so much time and money is not spent properly. Okay, so I'm a big proponent of taking down walls and removing walls and opening up older homes to look newer and compete with the new construction, right? And so this is obviously an after picture on the left and a before picture on the right. So on the right, I had to combine 2 pictures together there, but we had a dark galley kitchen. And if you see over the sink in the right picture, there's a pass-through window onto an enclosed family room now, right? And so in the picture on the left, you see that we closed up that window. And now it's, literally a family room when you go into it around the corner. We took down the wall that you can see on the picture on the right where there's a refrigerator and more cabinets. And we took down that wall and moved our refrigerator over. So you can see that the cabinet starts on the left there. Our refrigerator's in that cabinet. And, for very little money, guys, and I could do a whole renovation, thing at some point in the future, but the extra money of like $80 to buy the wall part of the cabinet that closes in a refrigerator changes the whole look of your kitchen. And it's so inexpensive to do. And so I do that all the time. And it makes the cost of my kitchen look more expensive. And people might not even understand why. And it's that one piece of cabinet wall next to the refrigerator. And so look at this. Now we have an island type situation with more additional seating. We open up our living room and our dining room. It changes the entire look and feel of the home. And yes, you pull a permit to do this because you had to move the electrical, you had to move the refrigerator, and you have a permitted renovation. It sells itself. Here's another kitchen where I took down the wall. Now, if you've heard me teach before, you know that I spend money where the people who are buying the house spend their time. So there's the kitchen and the master. So the kitchen is where I like to spend money. So I will spend the least amount of money on the guest bedrooms and the guest bathroom because that's fine for guests. Okay, they're not going to be living in those rooms. So that's where I'm going to cut corners to spend the money in the rooms that matter. So in this kitchen here, we cut down that entire wall. So where you can tell this is that in the picture on the right, the before picture, you see the sink. Right? You see where the sink is at? So in the picture on the left, you see where the sink faucet is sticking up over the counter? So you're seeing it from now, where I'm standing in the living room taking a picture back at the kitchen, behind that wall on the right that's no longer there. So I lost cabinet space at the top. I had to keep that soffit because the AC is running through there. This is a condo. But my cabinets end up starting, on the other wall. And I went all the way around with the cabinets, all the way around the bottom island. And so where before on the right side, there's a doorway coming into the kitchen, now it's just an open space and you walk right in. And it, again, changes the whole look and feel of the units. And I like to stage a lot of our units, so I hire a stager. I don't try to do that myself. I did try. My husband tried to kill me, so I said, okay. And so I don't do that part anymore. But in this particular unit, it was a high-end condo in Boca Raton, and the buyer was buying a second home, and she bought all the furniture, too. She actually bought the furniture from the stager. So it does make a difference, Okay, so I think one more here is, again, look at the difference of this kitchen night and day. We had a huge, huge kitchen area. And what we did, again, this is from a different angle of the same kitchen. So when we gutted this kitchen, we actually installed the window that you see in the bottom picture, the window on the right, we actually installed that window so we would have a pass-through granite ledge out onto a patio deck. So you had the use of reaching out and handing drinks or food or whatever while somebody's grilling right there, so you got to think that through. If I was living here, what would make this nicer or better? Not walking all the way around and out my dining room, in and out, because outdoor space really helps. And so we added that window and changed out the other one to match that you're looking at over the sink. And so when we turned this kitchen all the way around and removed that whacked look on the right, we were able to place this large island. And one of the things when I teach renovation, I bring students into my houses and I show them what we've done and why we've done it that way. So one of the things I do with the islands, guys, and this is huge. So when you are putting in an island that you actually doesn't move, the island doesn't move, you have to run the electrical either underground, so you have to dig up, right? So it comes up through the island, or you have to have a pole through the island. So in the area where I'm at, I'm just telling you where I'm at, that's what we have to do to make our island to code. So what I do is I make a movable island. So the island is made out of our cabinets. It's got the granite, but the tile is not tiled up to it. The tile is on the floor, and then our island is set on the tile. So they can actually take this island and move it against the wall or turn it the other way. But I do not need a permit. I do not have to run electrical to it. I don't have to do any of those things to meet code or have to pull a permit in that situation because my island is not stationary. So that's just a tip for you. So when you do get into renovating, there's a lot of ways, guys, that you can make your dollar stretch just like this one when you learn from the right people who renovate. So there's a ton of people online that do that. Okay, including other teachers that are teaching for GREEN. You guys can plug into GREEN and learn right from them. Okay, so guys, if you are interested in changing your mindset and getting out of your own way, then I encourage you to pick up Exposing the Truth Behind the Lies of Real Estate Investing. It's an easy-to-read book that will really shed a lot of light on some hidden subjects that are preventing you from going out and being successful right off the bat. You know, when you have the wrong truth, then you start out in front of a roadblock, and why wouldn't you want to just walk right through that roadblock? And so I encourage you to do that. You can go to our site, 32westrealty.com/books, and pick up your copy for only $15. And if you want to get on our list, you're interested in investing in property in South Florida, where I'm located, please reach out to me. Here's my email address. I'm at 32westrealty.com. And if you enjoyed what you learned about Exposing This, and stick with us, we have a couple more Exposing This segments coming up over the next couple of weeks. And you know, I encourage you to learn more about real estate investing and other amazing topics online via live interactive video conference classes just like this one at learnfromgreen.com. When you increase your knowledge, you increase your income. So to your success. Thanks for tuning in today.
All right. This is what I'm talking about. The stuff that you don't know, just costs you hundreds and hundreds and thousands of dollars. We will have her 10 tips on CDs and DVDs that we're just starting to create for our speakers. This is Larry Simons. I talk about property management. And this is Dave Foster talking the lifestyles of a real estate investor. These kind of CDs we'll be selling here in GREEN. We're going to have a store back here. You can buy them right now for $25 a piece. But all this stuff is I think, was that good stuff? I mean, was that? Yes. Every day we have this, and my mind's blown all the time. Like I said, I bought 60 properties from him, but he cut me off like a drunken sailor, and I bought 70 more from a couple other people. Well, most of them in East Nashville, but the market's growing. But just because you buy a lot of property doesn't mean you're good. And what I found out is if you don't have the proper team, you know, not only a good realtor that you can trust, but a good property manager, a good closing guy, good contractors, that you can be the best fix-it guy you can possibly be, or have all the money you possibly, and you can still fail because you're not properly prepared. Well, I'm going to bring up Steve here. We do this. We are a network marketing company that, because we're $99 a month to get this education and so much more, we only charge like $10 more a month for somebody to bring a friend. I get checks here that people aren't here. I'll be giving them out. But I randomly or I regularly hand out checks every Wednesday when I'm sitting up here. So when you come here, and Steve's going to talk more on this right now, but I thank you for my time. I'm going to bring up my partner, Steve Chase, and the
And so we like to try to be respectful of everyone's time. And as Mark mentioned, in Mark's way, which is generally a different form of communication than Steve's way, that we have a variety of classes and training elements that are available to members. Just so you guys know, this is always free, and we'll have try to get as much variety as we can. That's not just specifically relevant to real estate, as Mark said. It could be something to do with personal development. It could be something esoteric, like Mark had mentioned, dealing with home design, just general education. We've got things like 1031 exchanges, so things that deal with the tax consequences of real estate, of investing, credit repair. So if you want to actually purchase a house, and part of the key, though, the fundamental key of all of this is, as I said to Chad earlier, real estate's a contact sport. You've got to go out and you've got to do stuff like this, show up and meet people and develop relationships with people that have two things that you always look for: competency and character. Okay, competency and character. When you are in this enough and you meet enough people, you will see people that have competency and character. And then if you're looking to get in the investment side of real estate, which is what we do, which is what we love to do, eventually, if you plug in, so I can lead the horse, but I can't make the horse drink. I can lead the horse to water. But eventually, if you plug in, you can gain the knowledge that you need. Not everybody's going to get rich in this. Most people won't. But one person could wind up buying a house that they build $80,000 equity in, instead of buying a house too much or pay too much for a house in the wrong neighborhood. It's not going to do as well. And you can also make great connections to potentially do things with that house. So it goes beyond just we cater not only to the people who dream, that want to become millionaires, but we also cater to the individuals that just want to gain a general knowledge of the stuff they don't teach you in school. Nobody taught you anything about financial independence. Nobody taught you anything about sales skills. Probably nobody did. Nobody taught you how to be an entrepreneur. Okay, nobody taught you anything about real estate or real estate investing or investing in general. These are traits that we just stumble upon. You have to make a conscious effort to go out and find these things. So if you guys are here tonight, it's showing at least that you are making some of that effort. But it's a long-term game. This is a lifetime hobby. It's not something you just kick the can around a little bit and show up next week and expect.
Who are those guys in there?
I'll ask. Well, they don't. I mean, we didn't do the introduction tonight. We kind of got long.
No, we got time. We started a little late.
Okay. Well, these guys don't know anybody, so you guys can introduce yourself.
I'm Anthony Branch. I'm a GREEN member of 5 months now. Specialized in selling and teaming up with others on real estate investment deals. Had some success since I've been here. That's why I'm still coming. Learning a whole lot, just on the whole aspect of real estate investments and other areas too. Having a great time, and I think it's well worth it.
Great. Sure.
Hello, my name is Sharon Bone. I'm a GREEN member of 1 week. I'm just here learning. I just started, just trying to connect with people, get into living, investing.
So you got a degree in entrepreneurship, so you might have actually been taught a few of these things that I mentioned.
A little bit.
You were a very rare person to have that. Very, very great degree. I almost went to Baylor because it was the only school in the country that had that degree when I was in college.
Hey, I'm Nick. I'm a mortgage loan officer. I'm a GREEN member.
Okay.
I'm Forrest White, and I'm just here to learn. I've flipped a few properties in the past and made some money, lost some money, and need more education.
All right, great.
Yeah, my name is Marina. I'm also a GREEN member, learning from GREEN and Joy.
I'm Chad Davenport. I'm not a GREEN member yet, but I'm interested in, I'm a homeowner, so I'm interested in the flipping of houses and just making money in real estate.
All right.
My name is Zachary Butcher. This is my second time being here tonight.
Signed up last week. I'm a green member officially, but in training stuff though. Cheryl, we company with Pete Builders.
Pete Builders?
Yeah, Pete Builders. Okay. We do remodeling, all around full remodeling, exterior and interior work on really good houses, and we erect commercial construction.
Are y'all out of Cheatham County?
Sorry?
Are y'all out of Cheatham County?
No, we're out of Murfreesboro.
Out of Murfreesboro? I was going to say there's generally not a lot of local guys from here that are builders that are from Davidson County. Everybody's from the outlying counties.
Yeah.
I've got a partner in Cheatham that gets that a lot. He's probably hired half the contractors in town. Okay.
I'm Wes Arena, from partner with Big Builders.
Okay.
I'm Brandon Thompson. I'm friend of Zach. He's been thinking pretty highly of it, so I kind of messy with all about.
Great.
I am Lamont Walters. I have not officially joined Green, but I have been around Green for quite some time, so they're probably going to get on to me for not signing up yet, but we're going to get to that. I manage tax accounts for the IRS, and I am the president of the Parthenon Postmasters, a public speaking and leadership organization, for which Mark is my vice president of public relations. And so I am beginning my journey on the real estate investing, wholesaling market, and they indicated a deal that I'm actually trying to work on now. There is great value in Green in the time that I've been here and haven't joined. These guys know what they're doing, and they are true educators and professionals. So I'll turn it back over to you.
So I should have given you guys, when you signed up last week, this is our new member orientation package. I think he was going to send you one anyway. But basically, this explains a little bit about the philosophy of our company. When you join Green, we don't call you a sales rep. It is a network marketing company, and we have this is free and open to everybody every week. So y'all can always come, learn, get educated, trade business cards, talk business, talk about crowdfunding. We're going to go into that subject because that's going to be one we're going to look at for long term. But the idea is that you're not a sales rep, you're a mentor, okay? So the goal of this company is to create millionaire mentors of others. And we've got the trademark and the website, Mentor with Millionaires. And that's when you join this company, you have the opportunity to go online, do live interactive training several times a week with guys who are actually millionaires. So, and you get to do that for $109.94 a month. And it happens to be something that you can get paid to invite your friends to do. So, the people that kind of know this business know that it's a really big deal and it is growing. So you'll see that's why the first people that joined this without question were actually millionaires. They were friends of mine. And they saw the vision of it and they're like, so the idea basically is instead of these sort of gurus out there that are trying to teach and take thousands and thousands of dollars because they can, we figured instead of taking $10,000 or $20,000 that we could get 10,000 people and share a vision where people who are very successful in the industry will teach and help others learn. And so I'm a consultant to anybody that joins my company. You can call me anytime. I'll talk to you about the value of a house, whether or not you've got a deal, what the angle is, if we can potentially sell that house if you're looking to flip. So now I can't do this for everyone, but if you're in my company, I can do this. And that's just the mindset. Paul does the same thing for all of his people. And, I've personally sold over 1,000 houses, probably flipped 300 or 400. I don't even keep count. I have no clue. So I've got, and Mark, in the same realm, we've got a lot of experiential type knowledge. So anyway, when you join, you get one of these, and we always want you to invite your friends. If you're interested in more intense online training and the network marketing opportunity, you guys would be more than welcome to talk. Or otherwise, we stay open another 20, 30 minutes or so. And if you're interested in signing up, come grab me. I'll sign you up.
In these packs here, we put a 3-day guest pass that you can go on all our education. Now, you can also, and you can do this too, anybody can do this, you can also go to our website, which is up there, gardenforgreen.com, and go to the join button. You can join. Or, God, Marcus, hit this join login button. Well, you might get on the mailing list. Get off of there. And you can get on there. If you just click on that 3-day guest pass down there, you can get yourself a 3-day unlimited, go in there and check out all the education. I would suggest don't use it until Wednesday morning. No, you guys are working. But Wednesday morning, because you get like 2 or 3 shows on Wednesday. Paul's on Thursday. You got to watch Paul Kazanowski at 6:30 on Thursday. And then Friday, we usually have a lot of good education. Mondays, too. Tuesdays are light so far. We got a lot of new teachers coming up. And there's also archives that you can, if you're a member, you can get into the archives under, and you can watch every teacher we ever had speak, just like she did. God, scroll down, Marcus. All these teachers, faster. I don't want to see that. All these teachers, and they're like hour shows of all kinds of, unbelievable, mind-blowing stuff.
You'll say recorded in the archive all of our training that we've done. So each of the live training sessions that we have with our members during the week.
Even this is archived.
They're all recorded.
If you go into network clubs, you'll see archive. You can, in about 3-4 days, you can watch this again and watch every meeting we had here for since over a year is recorded there. Yeah. So skip my 5 minutes comedy act in the beginning, and you'll get to where the speaker was. We had some great speakers here that just blow your mind on what you don't know. It's not to scare you; it's just to to educate you.
All right, guys, thanks for coming, and we'll see you again next week. Appreciate it.
Thank you.